অসম চৰকাৰৰ স্বাস্থ্য বিভাগ, মেডিকেল এডুকেশ্যন ৰিচাৰ্চ ডিপাৰ্টমেণ্ট আৰু শ্ৰীমন্ত শংকৰদেৱা ইউনিভাৰ্চিটিৰ অন্তৰ্ভুক্ত নীলাচল কলেজ অফ এলাইড হেল্থ ছায়েন্সেছে আগবঢ়াইছে তিনিটাকৈ সুকীয়া পাঠ্যক্ৰম বেচেলৰ ইন মেডিকেল।
Welcome to this packed edition of Evening Prime with big updates from Manipur, Nagaland, Tripura and elsewhere. Later in this program, I am discussing with top political leaders from Meghalaya whether the development story in the state is on track or not. I am Wasbir Hussain. First, the headlines.
Royal Global University presents News Headlines. Badhega Northeast, tabhi to badhega Northeast.
Manipur government keen on starting dialogue with Meitei and Kuki communities. Team Biren Singh say in memorandum to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Wants central agencies to probe into role of possible external elements in violence. Nagaland's gateway Dimapur and two nearby districts brought under inner line permit cover. Nagaland's cabinet's historic decision triggered by fears of illegal migration. Special Task Force of Mumbai Police's Economic Offences Wing starts probe against a Mumbai company's case involving Nagaland Minister Temjen Imna along. Will comply with court's directive, says Minister Temjen to Notice Live. Tipra Motor founder Pradyut Debbarma lock horns with State Congress leader Sudip Rai Burman, says Tiprasa Accord implementation delayed due to Lok Sabha elections. IIT Guwahati academic dean quits as fourth student die in a year rocks Premier Institute. Row over attendance leads to casualty, claim fellow students, allays toxic environment.
Evening Prime is brought to you by Yamaha MT 1.5 Tame the Darkness and Patanjali Dant Kanti Full Fresh.
We start tonight's Evening Prime with a big breaking story. Manipur Chief Minister Biren Singh and the ruling alliance MLAs have told Prime Minister Narendra Modi that the state government is keen to begin a dialogue process with both the Meitei and Kuki communities as well as the MLAs representing the two sides. The state government mentioned its desire to hold such a dialogue in a memorandum addressed to Prime Minister Modi that was submitted through State Governor Lakshman Prasad Acharya in Imphal when Chief Minister Biren Singh and his team met him last week. Team Biren has also demanded a detailed investigation by central agencies on the possible involvement of external forces in the ongoing ethnic conflict in Manipur. Such a suspicion has become stronger after the use of militarized drones and long-ranged improvised missile systems for attacks. Another major point highlighted in the memorandum to the Prime Minister was the need to prepare a national register of citizens with 1961 as the base year, besides detection and deportation of illegal migrants already present. On to Nagaland now. Triggered by fears of large-scale illegal Bangladeshi migration as well as outsiders from elsewhere in the country, the Nagaland cabinet today took a historic decision bringing the gateway of the state, Dimapur, and its adjoining districts, Chamukidima and Newland, under the purview of inner line permit. The decision comes in the wake of a recent viral video of passengers disembarking a train at the Dimapur railway station, Nagaland's only railhead. Making the announcement, Minister and Nagaland government spokesperson Temjen Imna Along informed that residents in Dimapur will be divided into 3 categories for implementation of the ILP system. Let's listen in.
Inner line permit to be implemented in Chumugdima, Newland and Dimapur districts. In Dimapur district, the inner line permit, there shall be 3 categories of residents. No inner line permit will be required for category 1 and 2. Only for category 3, inner line permit will be required.
Alright, significantly, Temjen Imna Along informed that the government will provide ILP for a duration of up to 5 years to technical personnel, entrepreneurs, teachers, and even students who are working and investing in the state.
The government will be strengthening the digital system for issuance of inner line permit. Certain categories, just as students, teachers, technical personnel, business partners who are working and investing in the state, etc., will be provided ILP for a longer duration of, say, a maximum of 5 years in a time, renewable again and again, perpetual. So for those categories, for 5 years, they will be given the inner line permit and they can renew it again after that.
So, has the politics of citizenship peaks in the region post the latest Bangladeshi crisis or the crisis in Bangladesh? The demand for ILP in Dimapur and adjoining districts has been pending for long, and it is this viral video which brought the movement to the forefront again. The video prompted the Naga Students Federation to serve a 14-day deadline to the state government to implement ILP across the districts of Dimapur, Chamukidima and Newland. Staying with another big story from Nagaland. Nagaland Minister Temjen Imna Along seems to be in the middle of a court case and an investigation by the Special Task Force of Mumbai Police's Economic Offences Wing following court orders. The investigation is about a business deal that the minister had entered into with a Mumbai-based company named Hazel Mercantile Limited. The deal had apparently gone sour, leading to the company moving the Mumbai court regarding a rupees 125 crore investment done by them in Nagaland in 2015. Minister Temjen Imna said that the business deal dates back to the time when he was not holding any government or public office. He said that there have been some disputes in the business deal and that he had entered into with the company, which the minister refers to as a friend's company. The minister said he will ensure the problems are solved as per the appeals made in the court. Let's listen into what Minister Temjen Imna Along told our reporter Sarah Konyak in Kohima.
This has been in the year 2014-15. This was that time. And then after that, a lot of time has elapsed. And due to some disputes, in business there are some disputes, there are some delays and some problems that have come. So me and my friends, we have had some dispute. So they went to the court to mitigate that dispute. So it is a subject matter of the court, which I accepted. I have apprised the my leaders of the day about it, and they know about it very well. So my dear friends, kindly do not take it into conclusion. There will be cases, there will be some problems that until those cases are mitigated. These are just normal affairs of some business dispute which has not been able to be solved. So I will make sure that these problems are solved according to the appeal that has been made in the court.
Right. According to Hazel Mercantile Limited, Minister Temjen Imna had approached the company. Of course, that time he was not a minister. He was not holding any public office. Temjen Imna Along had approached the company to invest in Nagaland. Subsequently, in 2015, a memorandum of understanding was signed under which the company invested approximately rupees 125 crore. The MOU also included construction contracts and agreement for the supply of rice and sugar. However, the company alleged that after fulfilling all supply commitments and raising invoices, the minister began avoiding contact with their representatives. The company then lodged a complaint with the EOW in February this year after allegedly receiving no response from the Nagaland minister. The Nagaland minister, Temjen Imna, has already clarified that this is a matter that is in court and that it is going to be resolved according to the directives of the court. Tipra founder Pradyut Debbarma today adopted a defiant posture, saying no political party or anyone can trap him or dilute his effort at helping and working for his community. He was responding to a pointed allegation by Tripura Congress leader Sudip Roy Burman, who said earlier in the day today that Pradyut Debbarma and Tipra Motha fell into the BJP trap that led to the signing of the Tiprasa Accord. Roy Burman said 6 months after the signing of the so-called historic Tiprasa Accord, nothing substantial has been achieved. Let's first listen to what Congress leader Sudip Roy Burman had said before we bring you sharp reactions from Pradyut Debbarma, who had an exclusive chat with Notice Live.
I don't blame you, but you have fallen in a trap of laid down by the সেন্ট্রাল গভর্নমেন্ট আপনি তাদের ফাঁদে আপনি পা দিয়ে দিয়েছেন। ত্রিপুরা মথার সুপ্রিমো প্রদ্যোৎ কিশোর দেববর্মাকে আমি জিজ্ঞেস করতে চাই, মার্চের 2 তারিখ কেন্দ্রীয় সরকারের সঙ্গে তথাকথিত একটা চুক্তিতে আপনারা স্বাক্ষরিত করেছিলেন, বলেছিলেন 6 মাসের মধ্যে আপনাদের যে ডিমান্ড গুলো কেন্দ্রীয় সরকার পূর্ণ করবে, আপনাকে আশ্বস্ত করেছে। এটার এই 6 মাস এক্সপায়ারি হয়েছে সেপ্টেম্বরের 2 তারিখ। আপনি 5 তারিখ জম্পুই জেলা বিভিন্ন জায়গায় গিয়ে বললেন পটকা ফোটানোর জন্য তৈরি থাকতে, আপনি 5 তারিখ দিল্লিতে গিয়ে একটা ঘোষণা দেবেন। আর কতকাল আপনি সহজ সরল তিপ্রাসাকে তাদেরকে ভুল বুঝিয়ে রাজনীতির স্বার্থ চরিতার্থ করবেন? উত্তর দিন।
You can not trap me. You can trap some leaders by offering them good post. You can trap some wannabe leaders by offering them some money, some transfers. You cannot buy people like Pradyut Bikram Manikya. Cannot trap me. I am not a mouse. Prime reason for the delay of the Tipra Accord was the Lok Sabha election. It concluded in June. So the Tipra Accord was signed on 4th of March. So till June 4th, nothing happened. And then it was very important that we get the NLFT and the ATTF to come and sign the Tiprasa, the NLFT settlement accord.
We have a big breaking news coming in. Actor and influencer, this is the big breaking news at this point. Actor and influencer Sumi Bora, who is wanted by the police in connection with a multi-crore online trading scam, is all set to surrender today. Releasing a video for the first time since her disappearance around more than a week ago, Bora said that she will fully cooperate with the police. Sumi Bora is allegedly a close associate of scamster Bishal Fukan, who was arrested on September 3rd in connection with the multi-crore online trading scam that has rocked Assam.
বহুত দিনৰ পৰা আপোনালোকে মোৰ বহুত নিউজ শুনি আছে, বহুত অপপ্ৰচাৰ চলি আছে। যি নিউজ বাজিছে তাৰ 10%ও সঁচা নহয়। আৰু মই ইমান দিনে একো মাত মাতিব পৰা নাই, কাৰণ ইমান হেৰেছমেণ্ট, ইমান মেণ্টেল হেৰেছমেণ্ট, যোনটো কেতিয়াও মই ভাবাই নাছিলোঁ হ'ব বুলি, সেইখিনি মই পাৰ কৰিব লগা হৈছে। মেণ্টেলি প্ৰস্তুত নাছিলোঁ কোনো ধৰণৰ কথা ক'বলৈ বা কিবা ষ্টেটমেণ্ট দিবলৈ। সেইটো কাৰণে 7 দিন মই যেনে তেনে কটালোঁ, কিন্তু এতিয়া জোখতকৈ বহুত বেছি অপপ্ৰচাৰ চলিছে। বহুত ধৰণে মোক সাঙুৰ খুৱাইছে বিভিন্ন ক্ষেত্ৰত ন্যায়ালয়ে মোক দুখী কৰা আগতে নিউজ মিডিয়াই মোক দুখী কৰি মোক এতিয়ালৈকে ফাঁচি দিছে মোক অলৰেডি মই দুখী বুলি কথা কৈছে আৰু বহুত ধৰণৰ নিউজ বিভিন্ন ধৰণৰ নিউজ য'ত মোৰ কেছটোৱে ট্ৰেডিঙৰ ওপৰত আছিলে কিন্তু এতিয়া কেছটো অকল মোৰ ওপৰত হৈ গ'ল আজি ফাইনেলি বহুত দিনৰ পিছত সাহস কৰি মই সাৰেণ্ডাৰ কৰিব ওলাইছোঁ মই ফুল কোঅপাৰেট কৰিম পুলিচৰ লগত ইমান দিনে কৰিব পৰা নাছিলোঁ মই পলাই ক'তো থকা নাই মই লুকাই আছিলোঁ অকণমান মই পৰা নাছিলোঁ সহ্য কৰিবলৈ ইমান সহজ নহয় নিউজ এটা শুনি থকা বা নিউজ এটা কৰি থাকিলে যি মন যায় তাকে কৈ আছে কোনো ধৰণৰ তথ্য নোহোৱাকৈ কথা কৈ আছে মই ভাবিছিলোঁ ইমানখিনি কেতিয়াও নিউজ মিডিয়াই নকৰে ইমান তথ্য নথকাকৈ ইমান নিউজ নবজায় কিন্তু আজি নিউজৰ মিডিয়াৰ ফলত মই আজি দুখী গোটেই মানুহৰ আগত মোৰ মান সন্মান মোৰ মা দেউতাৰ মোৰ পৰিয়ালৰ গোটেইবোৰ উলংঘ হৈছে আৰু এতিয়া আৰু ধৈৰ্য ধৰিব পৰা নাই চবৰ এটা সীমা থাকে সেইটো কাৰণে আজি মই সাৰেণ্ডাৰ কৰিম আৰু মোৰ বিশ্বাস যে তথ্য চাই ন্যায়ালয়ে ডিচিশ্যন ল'ব আৰু মিডিয়াৰ নিউজ চাই নহয় চ' আজি মই সাৰেণ্ডাৰ কৰিম আৰু মই ফুল কোঅপাৰেট কৰিম পুলিচৰ লগত আৰু মোৰ বিশ্বাস যে যদি মই সত্য হয় মোৰ কোনো ধৰণৰ শাস্তি নহয়
All right, we'll go for a very short break. Don't go away. On the other side, I am discussing Meghalaya, whether the future of Meghalaya is tense. We're talking, of course, in the development and social context. I've got a top political panel tonight with me. Joining me will be Dr. Mukul Sangma, TMC leader and former Chief Minister, Dr. W.R. Kharluki, NPP leader and Rajya Sabha MP, and I have Congress leader, Mr. Ronnie V. Lingdo. Don't go away. I'll be right back.
सोचा है हमारे बाद इंडियन फुटबॉल का अगला हीरो कौन बनेगा
इंडिया से पूछते हैं
मिडफील्डर के बिना गेम कैसे बनेगा अपुया या
लचन पार्क की कैचिंग देखी है
हीरो मेरी टीम से होगा मेरी टीम से होगा
पार्थिव उसका हर शॉट बुलेट जैसा होता है
अब हर फुटबॉल फैन करेगा शोर अगला हीरो कौन देखिए ISL सिर्फ जियो सिनेमा और स्पोर्ट्स 18 पे
পতঞ্জলি কচ্চি ঘানি বিশুদ্ধ সৰিয়হৰ তেলত বিশুদ্ধতাৰ তীব্ৰতা এনেকুৱা যি লৈ আহে চকুলৈ পানী আৰু যেতিয়া পৰিবেশন কৰা হয় তেতিয়া সকলোৰে মুখলৈ আহে পানী সোৱাদ আৰু বিশুদ্ধতাৰ সংযোগ পতঞ্জলি কচ্চি ঘানি সৰিয়হৰ তেল
RCF दालमिया सीमेंट है RCF एक्सपर्ट यानी रूफ कॉलम और फाउंडेशन एक्सपर्ट दालमिया सीमेंट RCF strong तो घर strong
বিশ্বাস কৰাৰ আগতে পৰীক্ষাটো কৰি লও মেডাম
পতঞ্জলি হানিক পৰীক্ষা কৰা হৈছে বিশ্বৰ প্ৰসিদ্ধ লেবত আৰু পতঞ্জলি হানিয়ে পাছ কৰিছে বিশুদ্ধতাৰ 100ৰো অধিক ইন্টাৰনেশ্যনেল পেৰামিটাৰ্ছ হেতু হৈছে মোৰ বিশুদ্ধতাৰ নায়ক
পতঞ্জলি হানি 100ৰ ভিতৰত 100
অসম চৰকাৰৰ স্বাস্থ্য বিভাগ মেডিকেল এডুকেশ্যন ৰিচাৰ্চ ডিপাৰ্টমেণ্ট আৰু শ্ৰীমন্ত শংকৰদেৱা ইউনিভাৰ্চিটিৰ অন্তৰ্ভুক্ত নীলাচল কলেজ অফ এলাইড হেল্থ ছায়েন্সেছে আগবঢ়াইছে তিনিটাকৈ সুকীয়া পাঠ্যক্ৰম বেচেলৰ ইন মেডিকেল লেবৰেটৰী টেকনলজি বেচেলৰ অফ ফিজিঅ'থেৰাপি আৰু ডিপ্ল'মা ইন মেডিকেল লেবৰেটৰী টেকনলজি অত্যাধুনিক লেবৰেটৰীৰ সুবিধা আৰু অভিজ্ঞ ফেকাল্টিৰে শিক্ষাদান কৰা নীলাচল এডুকেশ্যন ফাউণ্ডেশ্যন ট্ৰাষ্টৰ অধীনত নীলাচল কলেজ অফ এলাইড হেল্থ ছায়েন্সেছ পাঠ্যক্ৰমসমূহৰ নামভৰ্তি চলি আছে যোগাযোগৰ ঠিকনা নীলাচল কলেজ অফ এলাইড হেল্থ ছায়েন্সেছ গোটানগৰ জালুকবাৰী অপজিট ইণ্ডিয়ান অইল পেট্ৰল পাম্প নেশ্যনেল হাইৱে 37 গুৱাহাটী
আরে ভাই এনে নাম্বার 1 কন্ট্রাক্টর হইছো নেকি সৰু কালৰ পৰাই ব্যৱসায় কৰি আছো সৰ্বোত্তম টিএমটি
এইটো মাইথান ষ্টিল নহয়
সস্তা হয় বস
স্ট্রং মানে
মাইথান ষ্টিল
ঠিক
সপোন যেন বতৰ যে তোমাৰ আমেজ লৈ হোৱানা তুমি
মজিয়াতে লৰালি কাল পাৰ হয় তাত কেমিকেল ৰেজিডিউৰ বাবে কোনো ঠাই নাই মজিয়া কৰি তোলে নিৰাপদ শিশু আৰু পেটছৰ বাবে ITC নিমাইল
RCF दालमिया सीमेंट है RCF एक्सपर्ट यानी रूफ कॉलम और फाउंडेशन एक्सपर्ट दालमिया सीमेंट RCF strong तो घर strong
শাৰী কুৰ্তা লেম্পছ লিপ গ্লছ
সকলোতে 80% ৰেহাই 80% ৰেহাই 80% ৰেহাই 80% ৰেহাই এনেকৈ মিছো মেগা ব্লকবাষ্টাৰ সেল য'ত পাব বছৰটোৰ আটাইতকৈ কম দামত
আপ টু 80% অফ হেকৰে আহি আছে
পতঞ্জলি কচ্চি ঘানি বিশুদ্ধ সৰিয়হৰ তেলত বিশুদ্ধতাৰ তীব্ৰতা এনেকুৱা যি লৈ আহে চকুলৈ পানী আৰু যেতিয়া পৰিবেশন কৰা হয় তেতিয়া সকলোৰে মুখলৈ আহে পানী সোৱাদ আৰু বিশুদ্ধতাৰ সংযোগ পতঞ্জলি কচ্চি ঘানি সৰিয়হৰ তেল
অসম চৰকাৰৰ স্বাস্থ্য বিভাগ মেডিকেল এডুকেশ্যন ৰিচাৰ্চ ডিপাৰ্টমেণ্ট আৰু শ্ৰীমন্ত শংকৰদেৱা ইউনিভাৰ্চিটিৰ অন্তৰ্ভুক্ত নীলাচল কলেজ অফ এলাইড হেল্থ ছায়েন্সেছে আগবঢ়াইছে তিনিটাকৈ সুকীয়া পাঠ্যক্ৰম
Welcome to Notice Tonight. On 17th of May, that is less than 4 months ago, Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad Sangma said that they are working towards making the state a $10 billion US dollar economy by 2028. Addressing the deputy commissioners, Chief Minister Conrad Sangma said his government has made Meghalaya a GDP-driven economy and has connected GDP growth to social and infrastructural goals. It is great to work with a target. It feels good also. But can this be achieved in a span of 4 years and with the kind of socio-economic environment currently prevailing in Meghalaya? The unemployment rate is at a high of 6%. This is much higher than the national average of 3.2%. Again, unemployment in Meghalaya's urban pockets is as high as 12% compared to the national average of 5%. This means there is urgent need for job creation. The government knows this and has set itself a target of creating 5 lakh jobs by 2028, that is within 4 years. But how is it going to do that? Meghalaya's economic mainstay is tourism, mines and minerals, and agriculture. But with pressure groups consistently pushing the demand to bring the state under the purview of the inner line permit system, and now local taxi associations demanding that taxis from Assam should not be allowed to ferry visitors to the tourist destination in the state, the tourism sector has suddenly plunged into some kind of uncertainty. Such demands are capable of putting brakes to the otherwise robust tourism sector that has grown from 7 lakh footfalls in 2013 to 12.7 lakh tourist arrivals in 2023. In this scenario, when you bring in ILP and insist on only local taxi owners ferrying tourists to Meghalaya, can Meghalaya achieve its target of having 20 lakh tourist arrivals by 2028? And with the persistent opposition to the setting up of railway lines or railheads in the state, the Khasi and Jantia hills of Meghalaya may soon become the only region in the northeast without a rail connectivity. This at a time when northeastern states with more treacherous terrains like Mizoram, Manipur and Arunachal Pradesh have got the rail links. The general thinking among the influential pressure groups is that when trains come in, it will bring in illegal migrants and migrant workers from elsewhere in India. Even without a rail link, there is a campaign by pressure groups in Meghalaya against migrant workers, forcing the state to bring in a bill in the state assembly called the Meghalaya Identification, Registration, Safety and Security of Migrant Workers Amendment Bill 2024. So migrant workers flow is likely to reduce as they are now required to possess official permissions, etc. To deal with pressure groups, and there are really many in Meghalaya, the government has to spend time and energy to persuade them to agree to projects for the greater interest of the state. But again, we see the ruling party leadership having to spend time as well to deal with charges of nepotism, dynastic politics and crony capitalism. So, is the future uncertain or even tense in Meghalaya? To discuss this and more, I am joined by Dr. Mukul Sangma, TMC leader and former Chief Minister, Dr. W.R. Kharluki, NPP leader and Rajya Sabha MP, and Congress leader Mr. Ronnie V. Lingdo. So, but before I start the discussion in just about 1 minute from now, let's quickly listen to what some of the leading voices of the state had to say about the major challenges before the state. That will take about one minute, little more than 1 minute.
Obvious that Meghalaya is in an economic crisis. And this economic crisis, the root of it is in crony capitalism that those in power indulge in. It is about contracts being given to companies actually owned by politicians, run by their families and their supporters. It is about nepotism. Just recently, it's shameful that certain privileges are given to the family of the head of state. The recent CAG report has indicated that Meghalaya has one of the highest fiscal deficits in the country with 6.90.
We've also seen an unresolved situation that has taken place over the last 10 to 15 years, the demand of ILP, where dialogue would require between the state and the organization demanding ILP, because this is leading to a disrupted situation of people having an understanding that the state is actually having problem. So it also affects tourism and businesses at large.
The role of NGOs and civil society organizations should move beyond the demand and the persistent and continual demand for the implementation of policies that are detrimental to the economic growth and development of the state and going to hamper the job creation avenues for the youth of our state.
Too many power centers. You have the state government, you have the district councils, you have the judicial institutions, so-called. Then you have the pressure groups of all kinds which behave something like parallel governments.
All right, let me go straight to Dr. Mukul Sangma, TMC leader, former Chief Minister. Dr. Mukul Sangma, you held a press conference recently, just about 2 days ago in Shillong. You said that, you virtually echoed what the Congress leader, Congress President Vincent Pala had said. You were saying that there should be a high-level inquiry into cases of corruption going on in the state. That's what is your main allegation. Now my question is, the Meghalaya government has set itself a target for a $10 billion US dollar economy by 2028. So in view of the situation, do you think that is an achievable target? If not, why not?
We can always have ambitious plan which is in sync with our aspirations of our people. It is good to have these set targets, and it is not that Meghalaya doesn't have the potentiality to achieve that target. Yes, we have the potentialities, but how do we actually ensure that we are able to realize the true potentiality that the state offers for the people of the state to achieve that target? Now, I think one big question is any state capable of generating that kind of conducive ecosystem for such economic growth unless issues which are of concern, particularly when there are allegations of irregularities, nepotism and corruptions are not addressed? You see, that is the main thing. So the whole potentiality notwithstanding, are we really creating that kind of ecosystem? In fact, it has been always a question posed before us by all our well-wishers who ever visit the Northeast and state of Meghalaya in particular. Why is it that you are not able to really take advantage of the huge potentiality that the state offers, including the potentiality of our own people, the whole command over language, over English language, and the whole legacy that we have inherited, the strong branding that we are connected with in as far as Meghalaya and Shillong is concerned? These questions are posed before us all the time. But where have we actually been failing is to really create that whole ecosystem, the positive environment to really harness this true potentiality of the state.
No.
Therefore, how do we address this concern? The issue of illegalities, issues which are actually drawing the attention of the people. If somebody is echoing these concerns, is it not really necessary to verify these allegations to really understand the seriousness of the underlying problem, which is an offshoot of so-called malgovernance or insensitivity of the people in authority towards issues, towards contentious issues?
Now,
these are questions.
Right. Dr. Mukul Sangma, we have Congress leader Ronnie Lingdo on the program. We have Dr. Kharluki from the ruling party. Now, it is always easy. It is always easy for political leaders to indulge in political fireworks. Now, my question to you, you are a very veteran political leader of the state. Now, my question to you is, when you are saying that Congress is also saying the same thing, that large-scale corruption going on. Now, why can't the political parties move the court and lodge an FIR or file a case?
It will be quite interesting for you if you know what is the status of number of such cases which were brought before. The various institutions which were created to create a deterrence to any tendency to indulge in corruption by people in office. One issue which is before the institution is the Lok Ayukta. You have to ask the government or anybody who is representing the government, what is the status of the Lok Ayukta in as far as the state of Meghalaya is concerned? What are the cases that is pending before the Lok Ayukta? And besides that, what are those other issues which are being flagged before the government? Is it necessary for the people to really knock the door of judiciary all the time? If that is so, then where is the issue of the responsibility of the government itself or the people who are representing the government? The government of the day is to take cognizance of the concern of the people, to ensure that our given system of democratic system is capable of dealing with the grievances of the people, so that people take judicial intervention as the last resort.
Right. Let me bring in Congress leader Ronnie Lingdo on the show now. Mr. Ronnie Lingdo, let's have Ronnie Lingdo on the screen. Yes. Mr. Lingdo, I will also go to Dr. Kharluki for a response. Let me hear from Ronnie Lingdo as well. Mr. Lingdo, Mr. Vincent Pala first brought out these allegations of corruption, nepotism, etc. He said that he leveled a serious allegation. Let's listen to, before I ask you the question, let's listen to what Mr. Vincent Pala had said some time ago. Let's quickly listen to that. That will be less than a minute, and I'm coming to you, Mr. Ronnie Lingdo, for your comments. Let's listen to what Vincent Pala had said.
The government of the day is not like before. Nowadays, the government is very arrogant. The government is very corrupt. The government is trying to finish the other parties by the illegal money which they have got from drugs, the illegal money which they have got from the illegal coal mining, from the manipulation of the contract works, so many things as we have seen. As from today, it starts even up to the transfer and postings and all. The government of the...
Now, Mr. Ronnie Lingdo, that's what Vincent Pala has said. Now, is it, as I was asking Dr. Mukul Sangma, is it political fireworks? Do we have evidence to this effect? How is it impacting development in the state? Because our main focus of today's discussion is how is the ecosystem in Meghalaya today suitable for the government to achieve its target of a $10 billion economy in the next 4 years? That's my question.
You see what the president has just said, there is some truth to it. Otherwise, he would not have said, because he is a very responsible person, being the president of the party and the former MP of the party. I think he must have evidence to it that he has brought this allegation. And then regarding the ecosystem, yes, if the right ecosystem is there, I don't think we'll have any problem in achieving why 10 billion, maybe more than that. But then the ecosystem, transparency, and in all the dealings should be there. Now, when there is, there is this allegation, there is this perception from the people that everything is not fair, everything is not transparent, then I think it's difficult to achieve that target, because as Dr. Mukul Sangma has just said, yes, Meghalaya has the potential We have the potential, for education to improve, not only, generate employment, even revenue of the state. We have the agriculture, we have the tourism sector, we have so many things, but then everything has to be transparent, and then the opposition also should be taken on board.
Mr. Lindo, what in the ecosystem is not correct according to you? What in the ecosystem is not right as of now?
You see, for example, now, I'll just tell you now, the contract works. For example, in the assembly, it was raised by Dr. Mukul Sangma, when there is, a dearth of employment. At least one sector, contract works, supplies, government supplies and government contract works, this should be opened up to, to the youth, to the people who are seeking employment. So in the meantime, they can, make a living until such time they can get, a proper government job.
Right. Right.
So these are few of the concerns, and then of course, because I don't think we're dealing at the micro level. You see, if we just cut and paste industrial policy of the government of India, which is relevant to the big states but not relevant to small states like India or like Meghalaya. So I think we should adopt policy that is suitable for the state of Meghalaya, relevant to the people of the state, and the kind of activity that the people are doing at present.
Right. Let me move to, before coming once again to Dr. Mukul Sangma, let me go to Dr. W.R. Karluki, senior NPP leader, former state president, and currently, of course, the Rajya Sabha MP of the party from Meghalaya. Dr. Karluki, allegations aside, there are some facts. I have got some facts in front of me. The unemployment rate in Meghalaya is 6%, whereas the national average is only 3.2%. And the unemployment rate in the urban areas of Meghalaya is 12% compared to the national average of unemployment in urban areas, which is 5%. Now, you are obviously, your government has set a target of 45,000 jobs, new jobs in the next 4 years. And of course, that big target of $10 billion economy by 2028, that is also in 4 years. Now, you have some unresolved issues, like people are still demanding ILP, that issue is not resolved. The railway line is not there. When you don't have a railway line connecting Shillong, the biggest city, the capital of the state. So these are some of the pending issues which the government has not been able to resolve.
Yes, Mr. Wasbir. Could you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Wasbir. ILP is not a demand of only today. It has been a long time demand. And this demand of ILP, way back to the 1979-80 movement, which not only in Meghalaya but the whole of the Northeast. And well, at that time, Mr. Roni and me, we are student leader at that time. So the main fear of the people is when they look at, what happened to the indigenous tribes of Tripura, where they were torn into minorities. And this demand goes on. And I would like to remind you that the 1979-80 was a movement, the fear of being swarmed by foreigners, not only in Meghalaya but in the Northeast, throughout the Northeast. And this is always there in the perception of the indigenous people of the Northeast. So, well, that's why I'm very proud to say that at least after almost 40 years, that when my party comes to power, we were the one to pass the ILP resolution after 40 years. At that time, I was still a young student leader, that we passed the resolution, and now it is in the court of the Home Ministry.
Right. So some of these issues are live issues, Dr. Karluki. These are live issues, and you have the migrant workers. Don't you think the fear of being swamped by outsiders? Do you think, yes, this is, on one hand, one cannot deny that one should not be bothered about outside influx, but at the same time, if you look at growth, if there is no tourism, now the local taxi owners, they do not want the taxis from Assam to go and drop people. So how do you operate in this kind of an environment? Do you think the government has to be proactive and deal with these issues?
You see, the question of tourism and the question of, ILP is different. tourism, they come from Assam, they come for 1 day, 2 days, or say from any part of India or the world, they stay and go back, which is quite different. So tourism as it is today, like what you have just mentioned, it has picked up in Meghalaya. And well, there are areas, particularly we have to study areas where, you know, in which the area themselves, they are building themselves a self-sustaining economy. For example, I'll give you like in Snongpadeng. You'll go to Snongpadeng and you'll see that, you know, when we talk of employment, we don't talk of only jobs, government jobs. Government jobs are limited. But if you go to Snongpadeng, a very clear example, you know, in Snongpadeng, it is the village themselves. You go to Snongpadeng, tourism comes, not only that, who earns? Those people who having their boats, they're earning at least 500, 1,000 a day.
Okay.
Fishermen.
Okay.
And then resort, people are staying. So when we talk of employment, we should not look only at the government jobs only.
No, Dr. Mukul Sangma, it is obvious. Dr. Kharluki is stating the obvious in the sense that, you know, we cannot look at only government jobs. But Assam now, look at Assam. We just had the Tatas investing 27,000 crore in that semiconductor facility. You know, we have a defense production line coming up in Assam very soon that will also run into thousands of crores apart from smaller investments. Now, of course, in a region like the Northeast where there is hardly any economic investment, in smaller states particularly, the people are looking at government jobs. But don't you think it is high time to think about innovative measures to bring in other forms of livelihood options? And do you see any such livelihood options coming up in Meghalaya in the past decade?
I think we have been quite consistent in our belief of the potentiality that the state provides for our people. You look at the population and the quantum of youth available to look at those spaces of employment outside the government sector. And you will see number of initiatives, you know, embarked upon by successive governments over the years, having realized those areas of potentialities. So aggregating these whole diverse potentialities and creating that kind of enabling environment is what I'm trying to tell. That's the reason why we identified, you see, Meghalaya actually tried to create that kind of enabling environment, keeping in mind the strength that we have. Education and itself is the catalyst for promoting tourism. That's the reason why we fought to get the first IIM in Northeast. Yes, we were privileged to have the first IIM in the Northeast. Then NIFT, then subsequently other technical institutions, and also we went ahead with the ambitious plan of creating a destination of, just to harness the benefit of the huge diversity of this region itself as a destination for culture, as a destination for music. In addition to that, identifying potentiality in the IT sector, in the health sector. Now, these are a few areas which are something which comes naturally for Meghalaya. Now, obviously, Assam has been able to get that investment in Jagirot only because of the Brahmaputra, the water. You know, you will understand and appreciate how much of water is required for that particular industry. So, similarly, we have to really do the mapping of our respective potentiality in diverse field. And therefore, there is no dearth of avenues of opportunity for generating that kind of employment outside the white collar job, outside the government sector. That is what we understand. But where is the ecosystem? Today, if you go and see the overall situation in education sector and the quantum of frustration and anger that is palpable amongst the youth, these are matters of concern. Why? Because the lack of opportunities for a long period of time, that creates, sense of insecurity. The sense of insecurity result in the the kind of lawlessness you see. So these are recipe for disastrous future, lack of opportunities. You have to create opportunities of job both in the government and outside the government. You cannot say that, okay, you look only for the non-government job outside the government, but what about the vacancies which are available with the government? Why are you not filling them up? Therefore, there are lots of questions. Now, you have also huge potentiality of the international border. Have we been able to really convert this international border from the border of dispute to border of prosperity? These are issues. Therefore, there are many other players who have to chip in, including government of India. You know, how to really take care. Now, why are we having the problem in Manipur? It is precious, precisely because we don't know how to handle with the neighboring country from the geopolitical perspective, to deal with our international border, and look at the number of instances this year itself. The number of instances where Assam has sieged. Assam has sieged.
Absolutely,
drugs.
absolutely.
Where are these drugs coming from?
Right.
Where are they going?
These are
issues.
really.
Now, how many people are now?
These are really big
under
questions.
influence of drug.
These are really.
How many youth are being becoming victim of this drug menace?
Right,
These
Dr.
are
Mukul
challenges.
Sangma, I'll go for I'll come to Mr. Lingdo, but before that, I'll go for a very short commercial break.
Opposite Indian Oil Petrol Pump, National Highway 37, Guwahati.
सोचा है हमारे बाद इंडियन फुटबॉल का अगला हीरो कौन बनेगा?
इंडिया से पूछते हैं। मिडफील्डर के बिना गेम कैसे बनेगा? अपुया या
लचन पार्क की कैचिंग देखी है?
हीरो मेरे टीम से होगा, मेरे टीम से होगा।
पार्थिव, उसका हर शॉट बुलेट जैसा होता है।
अब हर फुटबॉल फैन करेगा शोर, अगला हीरो कौन? देखिए ISL सिर्फ जियो सिनेमा और स्पोर्ट्स 18-3 पे।
RCF दालमिया सीमेंट है RCF एक्सपर्ट, यानी रूफ, कॉलम और फाउंडेशन एक्सपर्ट। दालमिया सीमेंट, RCF स्ट्रॉन्ग तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग।
निस्तेলৰ হৈতে নে খেলা খেল
নহলে হব স্বাস্থ্য ফেল।
স্বাস্থ্যৰ সৈতে হেতালি নেখেলিব। পতঞ্জলি ফিজিকেলি ৰিফাইন্ড ৰাইচ ব্ৰাণ্ড তথা সয়াবিন তেল আনক আৰু সুস্বাস্থ্য পাওক।
আৰে ভাই, এনেই নম্বৰ 1 কন্ট্ৰেক্টৰ হৈছো নেকি? সৰু কালৰ পৰাই ব্যৱসায় কৰি আছো। সৰ্বোত্তম TMT
এইটো মাইথান ষ্টীল নহয়।
সস্তা হয় বছ।
ষ্ট্ৰং মানে
মাইথান ষ্টীল।
ঠিক।
পতঞ্জলি কচ্চি ঘানি বিশুদ্ধ সৰিয়হৰ তেলত বিশুদ্ধতাৰ তীব্ৰতা এনেকুৱা যি লৈ আহে চকুলৈ পানী, আৰু যেতিয়া পৰিবেশন কৰা হয় তেতিয়া সকলোৰে মুখলৈ আহে পানী। সোৱাদ আৰু বিশুদ্ধতাৰ সংযোগ পতঞ্জলি কচ্চি ঘানি সৰিয়হৰ তেল।
শাৰী, কুৰ্তা, লেম্পছ, লিপ গ্লছ
সকলোতে 80% ৰেহাই। 80% ৰেহাই। 80% ৰেহাই। 80% ৰেহাই। এনেকৈ মিছো মেগা ব্লকবাষ্টাৰ সেল, য'ত পাব বছৰটোৰ আটাইতকৈ কম দামত
আপ টু 80% অফ। হেকৰে আহি আছে।
অসম চৰকাৰৰ স্বাস্থ্য বিভাগ, মেডিকেল এডুকেশ্যন ৰিচাৰ্চ ডিপাৰ্টমেণ্ট আৰু শ্ৰীমন্ত শংকৰদেৱা ইউনিভাৰ্চিটিৰ অন্তৰ্ভুক্ত নীলাচল কলেজ অফ এলাইড হেল্থ ছায়েন্সেছে আগবঢ়াইছে 3টাকৈ সুকীয়া পাঠ্যক্ৰম: বেচেলৰ ইন মেডিকেল লেবৰেটৰী টেকনলজি, বেচেলৰ অফ ফিজিঅ'থেৰাপি আৰু ডিপ্ল'মা ইন মেডিকেল লেবৰেটৰী টেকনলজি। অত্যাধুনিক লেবৰেটৰীৰ সুবিধা আৰু অভিজ্ঞ ফেকাল্টিৰে শিক্ষাদান কৰা নীলাচল এডুকেশ্যন ফাউণ্ডেশ্যন ট্ৰাষ্টৰ অধীনত নীলাচল কলেজ অফ এলাইড হেল্থ ছায়েন্সেছ পাঠ্যক্ৰমসমূহৰ
Welcome back. Mr. Ronnie Lingdo, you know, there are so many tiers of governance in Meghalaya. You know, there is the state government, there is the autonomous council, there are the Dorbar Shnongs, and there are any number of pressure groups. I don't like to take names because some of the issues that they are dealing with are definitely relevant issues. Maybe some of the methods may not be correct, but the issues that pressure groups are raising, some of them concerns the people. Now my question to you, Mr. Ronnie Lingdo, is this one of the reasons that multi-layered governance structures in the state, do you think that is also in a way responsible for the slow pace of decision making, the slow pace of progress and development in the state? Because if the state government decides something, somebody else opposes to it, and somebody else wants it in this way or the other way, or don't want it at all.
See, the point is now, if people think they have a stake in whatever development that is being taken, I don't think there'll be opposition. And if you talk about, different, layers of governance, I think other states also do have. For example, we do not have the Panchayati Raj. You go to other states, they have the Panchayati Raj system. So we have here the Dorbarshno. So, if people are made to understand that they stand to benefit from whatever intervention the government is going to embark upon, I don't think people are going to oppose. But then when they think, if they have this perception that only a few are going to benefit, then of course people will oppose. So I think the government should take everyone on board, be it the District Council, be it the Dorbarshno, be it the NGOs also, that not every NGO is opposed to, development. There are few of them. For example, you were talking about, the tourism that, they want these taxi owners, taxi drivers to ferry tourists to, that can be solved easily. For example, now I'll just give an example. For example, now if we have a tie-up, with the hotels, with the homestays, with the resorts, tourists can be ferried up to their destination. From there onwards, then maybe, tie up with the, the hotels, the resorts, the homestays, that from there onwards, you can engage these local, because they've also got to benefit. If they don't stand to benefit, then what is the point of promoting tourism at all? You see, now, for example, you cannot stop them halfway and say utilize our vehicles. I think, for example, now we have the Cherrapunji holiday resort, what do you call by Jiva Resort. Maybe up to Jiva Resort, people can be ferried from the vehicles that they've come from, maybe from Guwahati, from anywhere else. Okay, but then from Jiva Resort onwards, tie up with the Jiva Resorts management that, from there onwards, request the people to ferry people so that then people have a stake in it. Why would they oppose? You see, now there is a solution to any problem if you're sincere. Now, if taxi people themselves will ensure that tourism is, encouraged, people are treated fairly, people are treated with, courteously, if they stand to benefit. So, you have to involve everyone. I don't think that is a stumbling block to the development, but if they don't, they're not stakeholders in it, then you have this problem.
Absolutely. Dr. Kharluki, where is the problem? Do you think there is some communication gap? Do you think will you advise, as a senior leader, will you advise your state government to be a little more proactive to solve these minor issues that can be easily solved, as Mr. Ronnie Lingdo is saying? Like the taxi issue specifically, taxi problem.
Mr. Wasbir.
Yes.
I will appeal to our people. We must learn to live. We are always before known as the seven sisters of the Northeast. Yes, we'll try to solve a problem. Let me just set an example. Suppose we see that we don't allow tourists from Assam to come on tourist taxi. Suppose the tourist taxi of Assam said that your vehicle ply up to Jorabat. What will happen? You see, we have to be very particular on whatever decision. It is not so simple like that. We have to learn how to live. You see, yes, tourism actually is flourishing, but we ourselves, like I don't appreciate that what happened at that time when the tourists are stopped somewhere in between Sora. That is a very wrong move. We have to know that we are living in a region where we have to thrive together.
Absolutely. Let me turn once again to Dr. Mukul Sangma. Dr. Mukul Sangma, now, as opposition, the opposition, okay, we understand that the opposition has to play the role of a watchdog everywhere it does. Opposition criticize whatever the government does wrong. But for the sake of the people, don't you think the opposition also needs to come up with suggestions on how to go about things? If the government does not listen to the opposition, it's a different matter. That's another story. And you are
I think we are all aware. Let us be realistic. Every problem has a solution. But if one needs to solve the problem, one has to take cognizance of the problem. If one does not take cognizance of the problem and the complications associated with that problem, then you will not be able to solve the problem. First, you have to really agree to the fact that there is a problem. If a problem is flagged before the government. Now, it is not always that the opposition criticizes. It is the sacred responsibility of every political party, and for that matter, the opposition party in particular, to draw the attention of the government pertaining to any issue of concern which affects the overall growth and peace and prosperity of the state as a whole. Therefore, taking cognizance of any issues flagged before the government and to really make a sincere effort to agree if there is a problem, rather than being in a denial mode. Now, the problem is that the government of the day has learned the art of being in denial mode all the time. I think this is what is being carried even by the local medias, that the government is in denial mode. You know, this particular modus operandi of the government that has been adopted itself has become a barrier for the government to find answers to problems, to find solutions to problems. Therefore, we have to really aggregate our thoughts, how we amplify each other's, whatever in-depth experiences we have already gathered over the years, and look at how we funnel it together towards achieving that goal of really putting the state at the highest pedestal.
So,
yes,
are you saying,
let's come together.
Are you saying,
and let us be receptive to ideas.
Yes, it's a very important thing that you have said, Dr. Mukul Sangma, because you are also the leader of the opposition at this point in time. You have said a very, very important thing. That means, when you say that we need to come together, is the opposition, with your leadership, is the opposition ready to hold talks with the government to resolve some of these issues and take the state and the people forward? Are you saying that in clear terms?
Many platforms, there are plenty of avenues to achieve that objective of how we aggregate our thoughts and ideas, and with the sole intent, the intent of really keeping the interests of the people and the interests of the state before anything else. That is what should be the priority. But if our priority get diverted, and if there is really, a reluctance to listen to, then the problem lies there. There will be no solution for any problem. Therefore, I think it's time that, keeping in mind our responsibility towards the state, yes, we must. We are open all the time. And I think you will, if you have watched our proceedings in the House, the healthiest debate that ever we see, and irrespective of sometimes, some instances where, truth is bitter. When we flag certain things pertaining to the omission and commission or lack of response of the government towards dealing with issues of concern, then there is certain amount of bitterness. It is a natural human psychology.
Right.
But at the end of the day, what is the end result? End result is to look at the solution for any problem, so that at the end of the day, the larger interest of the people and the state is served.
Right. Mr. Ronnie Lingdo, you heard that. You are also part of the opposition. Now, my question is the opposition in Meghalaya, you have heard Dr. Mukul Sangma say that, you have an open mind. He said that they have an open mind as far as working together with the government, coming together on issues for only and only for the interest of the state and its people, but provided the government is willing to listen. How do you look at it? I have very little time. How do you look at it?
That's what we are here for, as legislators, as lawmakers, to take, put the interests of the state foremost.
Yes.
Okay, we're willing to work with the government, we're willing to work with any organization in the interest of the state. We have no, hang-ups to work with the government if the government sought our advice. Okay, like my senior colleague has said, Dr. Mukul Sangma, we are open. We are open. Take our suggestions. Take our, when we criticize, it is constructive criticism. It's not just to criticize for the sake of criticizing. Okay. So when we say anything, when we utter anything, especially on the floor of the House, we keep the interests of the state and the interests of the people uppermost in our minds.
Absolutely. Final comment from Dr. Kharluki. Dr. Kharluki, you will not get a more, mature opposition than what we have just heard from the two leaders from Meghalaya, two of the senior most opposition leaders from Meghalaya. They're saying that they're ready to cooperate with the government for the sake of the state and its people, but provided the government gives an opportunity, provided the government seeks their suggestions and is willing to listen. What will be your advice to the government, to your government?
Well, I'm very happy to have Ms. Dr. Mukul, a very senior politician. I really appreciate him, and even Roni. Roni was with me right from our student days. I do hope Roni remembers that. Well,
remember you very well.
Government should welcome, and I think the assembly is the main area where discussion were made, and I think whatever was given or whatever advice was given in the floor of the House, I think why we have a parliament, why we have a legislature, it is for that only. So that constructive debate is there. And I'll tell you, I'm very proud. I even told my fellow MPs in Delhi that I'm very proud that 50 years of statehood, we never see a day that the House was disrupted. I even went further saying that not only that MLA should go for training in the parliament, MP should come to our state and see how we function democratically.
Absolutely. Absolutely, that is the spirit, and at the end of the day, and this is a very, very positive conclusion to this debate. Yes, there are issues in Meghalaya. The ecosystem may not be ready yet to achieve that $10 billion US dollar economy, but what we are hearing from the opposition tonight is that they are ready to work with the government, and now we'll wait and watch whether the government hears this kind of a statement from the opposition and brings them together to discuss key issues of the government. We sincerely hope that that happens sooner than later. I thank all my panelists for participating in the program and the viewers for watching the show. Good night and goodbye.